feeling those pre-interview jitters for your modern languages teacher interview.
Don't worry, we've got you covered.
We're diving deep into RoleCatcher's resources to help you nail those tricky questions.
What's fascinating about interview prep today is that it's less about like rote memorization and more about showcasing your genuine passion and understanding of the why behind teaching languages.
Okay, let's jump into a classic opener.
Okay.
Why did you choose to pursue a career in modern languages teaching?
This is your chance to let your personality shine through.
Okay.
Instead of just saying, I love languages, share a specific experience that sparked your passion.
Yeah.
Was it a trip abroad, a fascinating cultural encounter, or maybe a teacher who inspired you?
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah.
A personal anecdote makes your answer memorable and shows your genuine enthusiasm.
Exactly.
Now, what if they follow up with, what specific languages or cultures particularly fascinate you and why?
That's where you can really geek out a bit.
Okay.
Talk about the nuances of a particular language.
Yeah.
The history of its evolution, or the cultural practices that intrigue you. Maybe you're fascinated by the linguistic complexities of Mandarin, or the vibrant storytelling tradition in Latin American cultures.
It's about showing them you're not just teaching a language, you're sharing a world of cultural richness.
Yeah.
Now, let's shift gears to staying current in the field. Education is constantly evolving, especially with technology transforming classrooms.
Absolutely.
So how do you stay up to date on the latest teaching methods and technologies in modern languages?
This is all about showcasing your growth mindset and adaptability. Instead of just saying you attend conferences, mention specific ones that you found valuable and what you learned. Are you part of any online communities like #LangChat on Twitter, where teachers share ideas and resources? It's like showing them you're a lifelong learner.
Exactly.
Always seeking new ways to improve your craft. What if they ask for a concrete example? Like, can you share a recent teaching innovation you've incorporated into your practice?
That's where you can really impress them.
Okay.
Maybe you've experimented with flipped classrooms, used virtual reality to create immersive language experiences,
Wow.
or incorporated language learning apps like Duolingo into your curriculum. Sharing specific examples demonstrates your proactive approach and your commitment to integrating new ideas.
That's gold.
Yeah.
All right. Every classroom is unique. So how do you tailor your teaching to visual learners, auditory learners, students with learning disabilities, and those still mastering English?
This is where your understanding of differentiated instruction comes into play. It's about having a toolbox of strategies. And knowing which tool works best for each student.
For visual learners, you might use graphic organizers to explain grammar concepts. For auditory learners, podcasts and audio recordings could be more effective.
So it's not just one size fits all.
Exactly.
It's about understanding the individual needs of your students.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, let's say they follow up with, describe a time you successfully adapted a lesson to support a student struggling with a specific learning challenge.
That's where you can share a powerful anecdote that showcases your problem-solving skills and your commitment to student success. Maybe you created modified assessments for a student with dyslexia, or used visual aids to support a student with autism. Sharing a concrete example brings your teaching philosophy to life.
I love that. It's about showing them you're not just talking the talk.
Exactly.
You're walking the walk. Now, how do you make learning fun and engaging? Especially when some students might not be thrilled about grammar rules.
This is where your creativity and passion for language really shine. Think about using games like Cahoots to make vocabulary review fun, or incorporating authentic materials like music and film to bring culture to life. You could even have students create their own skits or videos using the target language.
It's about making language learning an adventure.
Absolutely.
And remember that time you tried explaining the subjunctive mood?
Oh, yeah.
And everyone's eyes glazed over? We've all been there.
Exactly. Sometimes you need to think outside the textbook and find those creative sparks. Now, what if they follow up with, what's your approach to addressing disruptive behavior while maintaining a supportive and inclusive classroom environment?
That's a tough one. It's about finding that delicate balance.
Right.
Between maintaining order.
Yeah.
And fostering a positive learning space.
Precisely.
Okay.
You want to demonstrate
that you have clear classroom management strategies in place.
Right.
But you also understand the importance of building relationships.
Yeah.
And creating a sense of community.
Okay.
Maybe you use restorative justice practices or incorporate mindfulness techniques to create a calm and focused learning environment.
That's insightful. Now let's talk about assessment.
Okay.
It's not just about grades, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Assessment is about understanding how students are learning.
Right.
And providing feedback that helps them grow. You want to showcase your holistic approach by mentioning projects, presentations, even informal observations like class participation.
So it's about gathering information about student learning from a variety of sources. What if they ask, how do you use assessment data to inform your teaching and differentiate instruction for individual student needs?
This is where you can highlight your ability to analyze student work, identify areas of strength and weakness, and then adjust your teaching accordingly. You might talk about using formative assessments to guide your instruction, or creating individualized learning plans based on student needs.
It's about being a data detective, using assessment to unlock each student's potential.
Absolutely.
Now, how do you incorporate culture into language learning?
This is where you showcase your commitment to fostering cultural awareness and sensitivity. Do you use authentic materials like films, music, or guest speakers? Do you have students create projects that explore cultural practices?
It's about making it an immersive experience, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Importing students beyond classroom walls.
Exactly.
Now, what if they ask, describe a project or activity you've used to help students explore and appreciate cultural diversity through language learning?
That's your cue to share a memorable example.
Maybe you had students create travel brochures for a Spanish-speaking country, cook a traditional French meal, or interview a native speaker about their experiences.
It's about bringing the culture to life, making it tangible and engaging. Now, let's talk about collaboration.
Okay.
How do you work with other teachers or departments to integrate modern languages into interdisciplinary learning?
This is about showcasing your collaborative spirit and your ability to connect language learning to other subjects. Maybe you've worked with the history department on a project about the Spanish Civil War. Or collaborated with the art department on a unit about Frida Kahlo.
It's about breaking down those subject silos and showing how language is relevant beyond the language classroom.
Absolutely.
Now, what if they ask, can you share an example of a successful cross-curricular project you've collaborated on with another teacher?
That's your chance to shine. Describe a project where students use their language skills in a meaningful way. Like creating a bilingual cookbook with the culinary arts program. Or designing a website for a local community organization.
It's about demonstrating that you're a team player.
Right.
And you understand the value of connecting language learning to real-world applications.
Exactly.
All right, before we dive into more of those tricky interview questions, let's take a quick pause.
Sounds good. Welcome back.
All right.
We're ready to tackle more of those challenging interview questions that can really help you stand out as a top candidate.
All right, let's dive into one that every teacher faces.
Okay.
How do you motivate those students who just aren't that excited about learning a new language?
Right.
You know, the ones who see verb conjugations and their eyes glaze over.
It's all about finding those creative sparks and making language learning relevant to their lives.
Right.
Instead of just drilling grammar rules, connect those verbs to a popular song's lyrics and have students rewrite verses. Suddenly, the subjunctive mood is part of a catchy tune.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's like sneaking in learning through the back door.
Exactly.
Now, what if they follow up with something like, how do you differentiate instruction and create opportunities for student choice to increase engagement and motivation?
This is where you show off your teacher toolbox.
Okay.
For some, competition is key.
Right.
So a vocabulary game on Kahoot might be perfect.
Yeah.
Others thrive on creative projects. So designing a travel blog in the target language could be their jam.
Okay.
Having a variety of approaches ensures there's something to pique everyone's interest.
It's like you're a master chef, whipping up a learning buffet to cater to every taste.
Exactly.
Now, let's say you've aced the interview and landed the job.
Okay.
What's next?
Yeah.
What are the typical career stages and advancement paths for modern languages teachers in secondary school?
Great question.
Okay.
This shows the interviewer you're thinking long-term.
Right.
You'll likely start as a junior teacher, gaining experience and honing your skills. From there, you could move into a more senior role.
Okay.
Perhaps mentoring new teachers or leading an extracurricular language club.
So even within a school setting, there's room to grow and specialize.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Becoming a department head,
Okay.
where you guide curriculum development and teacher evaluation, is a natural progression for many.
Right.
And don't forget professional development,
Okay.
a master's degree, or specialized training in areas like second language acquisition can open doors to even more opportunities.
Wow. So many possibilities.
Yeah.
It's not just a job, it's a whole career journey.
It really is.
And speaking of journeys, RoleCatcher can be an amazing guide.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about how its AI can boost your job search and interview prep.
Here's where technology becomes your secret weapon. Okay.
RoleCatcher can analyze job descriptions, tailor your CV to specific requirements, and even provide feedback on your interview responses.
It's like having a career coach in your pocket.
Exactly.
Can you break down how this works?
Picture this.
Okay.
You upload your CV to RoleCatcher. Then you can search for specific jobs.
Okay.
Or let the AI match you with opportunities that fit your experience.
Okay.
It analyzes those job descriptions,
Right.
identifying key skills and showing you how well your CV aligns with them.
So you can see exactly where your CV shines and where there might be gaps to fill.
Exactly.
Okay.
And the best part?
Yeah.
It suggests improvements.
Okay.
Tailoring your CV to each specific application.
Wow.
This helps you get noticed by recruiters
Yeah.
and pass those applicant tracking systems.
Yeah.
That can be a real headache.
Okay, so that's for the CV.
Right.
What about actual interview practice?
RoleCatcher has a treasure trove of practice interview questions.
It's tailored to specific roles,
Okay.
including modern languages teacher.
Okay.
You pick questions relevant to the job you're applying for.
Right.
Practice your responses, and then get AI-powered feedback on your delivery content and use of keywords.
Wow. It's like having a mock interview with an expert, but on your own time.
Yeah.
And in your pajamas if you want.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And the feedback is personalized,
Okay.
focusing on areas where you can really level up.
So RoleCatcher helps you put your best foot forward, both on paper and in person.
Absolutely.
Now, let's circle back to those challenging interview questions.
Okay.
We've talked about motivating students.
Right.
But how do you handle the tech side of things? It's the 21st century.
Yeah.
And language learning is increasingly digital.
This is where you show you're not just comfortable with technology.
Okay.
You're excited to use it to enhance learning.
Right.
Don't just mention apps. Go deeper.
Okay.
Talk about using Flipgrid for pronunciation practice, where students can record themselves and get feedback from you and their peers, or Quizlet Live for vocabulary review, or teamwork and friendly competition make learning fun.
It's about using tech tools strategically.
Exactly.
Not just for the sake of it.
Right.
What if they follow up with something like, what are your favorite online resources or tools for supporting language learning, and how do you integrate them into your lessons?
Here's your chance to shine as a tech-savvy educator.
All right.
Talk about specific tools and platforms, outlining their pedagogical benefits.
Okay.
Maybe you're a fan of virtual field trips using Google Earth, exploring the streets of Paris or the Mayan ruins in Mexico.
Wow.
Or perhaps you use interactive whiteboards for collaborative storytelling.
Right.
Bringing language to life through visuals and shared experiences.
It's about showing them that you're not just a teacher. You're a digital pioneer, leading your students on exciting language adventures.
Exactly.
Now let's talk about something that can be tricky for even the most experienced teachers.
Okay.
Assessment.
Right.
How do you approach giving feedback that is both meaningful and constructive?
This is about showcasing your understanding that feedback is more than just grades.
Okay.
It's about guiding students toward growth and mastery.
Right.
Mention strategies like using rubrics that clearly outline expectations and provide specific criteria for success, or talk about implementing peer feedback sessions where students learn to critically evaluate their own work and that of their classmates.
It's about creating a culture of feedback.
Exactly.
Where learning is an ongoing dialogue, not just a final judgment. What if they follow up with, how do you use feedback to differentiate instruction for individual student needs?
This is where you demonstrate your ability to tailor your feedback to address specific learning challenges and styles. Maybe you provide audio feedback for auditory learners, or use visual annotations for visual learners, or perhaps you create individualized feedback forms based on student learning profiles, highlighting areas of strength and offering targeted suggestions for improvement.
It's about making feedback personal and empowering, helping each student reach their full potential.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, let's talk about something that can be a real challenge in today's diverse classrooms.
Right.
Creating an inclusive and welcoming environment for all students. How do you approach this in your teaching?
This is where you showcase your commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Right.
It's about going beyond simply saying, I treat all students equally, and demonstrating a deeper understanding of the complexities of identity and belonging. Talk about intentionally seeking out diverse voices and perspectives in your curriculum, representing a range of cultures and experiences in your teaching materials.
It's about making your classroom a mirror, where all students can see themselves reflected, and a window to the world, where they can explore different cultures and perspectives.
Exactly.
Now, what if they follow up with, can you describe a time you had to address a situation involving bias or discrimination in your classroom?
This is a challenging and important question. That gives you an opportunity to showcase your commitment to creating a safe and respectful learning environment. Share an anecdote that demonstrates your ability to handle sensitive situations with grace and empathy, emphasizing your commitment to fostering open dialogue and promoting understanding. Perhaps you facilitated a class discussion about stereotypes, or implemented a restorative justice approach to address a conflict rooted in bias.
It's about showing them that you're not just a teacher.
Exactly.
You're an advocate for justice and equality. Creating a learning space where all students feel safe, valued, and respected.
Absolutely.
Now, before we wrap up this deep dive, let's take a quick pause.
Sounds good.
We've covered a lot of ground, from those tricky interview questions to navigating the ever-evolving world of language teaching.
It's been quite a journey.
It has.
And you know, what's really exciting is that we've only scratched the surface of what RoleCatcher can do for you. It's constantly evolving, adding new features and resources to empower teachers like you.
It's like having a personalized support system right there in your pocket.
Exactly.
Now, before we wrap up this deep dive, let's talk about one final question that can often trip people up. Tell us about your experience using technology in the classroom.
This is your time to shine as a tech-savvy educator. Don't just list the software or tools you've used. Tell a story. Paint a picture of how you use technology to transform a lesson. Engage a reluctant learner, or create a more inclusive learning environment.
Ooh, I love that. A concrete example makes your answer come alive. What if they follow up with something like, what challenges have you faced when integrating technology, and how did you overcome them?
That's a fantastic question. Because it allows you to showcase your problem-solving skills and resilience. Maybe you encountered technical difficulties during a virtual exchange, or had to adapt your lesson plan when a website unexpectedly went down. Share how you navigated those challenges and what you learned from the experience.
It's about showing them that you're adaptable, resourceful, and always willing to learn.
Exactly.
Now let's bring it all back to you, the listener. You're prepping for this interview because you have a passion for languages and a desire to share that passion with the next generation. Remember that spark.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher can help you fan that spark into a flame by giving you the tools and confidence to ace that interview and land your dream job.
So before you head into that interview, take a moment to reflect on why you chose this path. What are those aha moments you want to create for your students? Hold on to that inspiration.
Yeah.
Let your enthusiasm shine through and trust in your abilities.
Good luck. You've got this.
Absolutely.